What's up, YouTube? How you doing? What's going on? So this video gonna be about how Drew Barrymore auditioned for the role in Titanic, but then she was told she'd be miscast, according to director James Cameron. You know, Drew Barrymore has a talk show host, and she's been around forever and a day. I mean, had a long career. Of course, if you're of a certain age in the time, you're gonna remember her from E.T. And when you make a movie that's a classic like that, you always kind of thinking, well, did you hit too soon? Because would you be in a situation kind of like Tatum O'Neal, Paper Moon, who won that Oscar, won all that, had that kind of big hit, but didn't really, it's hard to follow through. You have a decent career, but you never hit the heights again. Or do you have a challenging role like Jodie Foster, like you go from a Bugsy Malone to a taxi driver? Because acting and being a female, it can be the same thing for a dude, but for a female, it's even trickier because you get typecast and it's hard to get off of those roles. Now, she was told she'd have been miscast. I think when you say miscast, you don't really have the chemistry with Leonardo DiCaprio, which Kate Winslet did have. They really did make those characters believable. Drew Barrymore has had some nice, decent roles, and she's done some decent work. But imagine if she'd have had Titanic on her resume after having E.T. as a kid. That would have been something. And you're talking about 15 years later. So that would have been like, okay, she would have been in Jodie Foster territory. She'd have been in that rare breed, that Lawrence Fishburne kind of situation where you have a classic movie as a kid, then you blow up as an adult, and it's like there's no denying, you know. So it's interesting when I read about that. I thought, wow, Drew Barrymore almost had it like that. And because again, it's a lot of people audition. You'd be surprised who puts in the bid for the role, but then when they get to the point, it turns out not to be what it ends up being. So it's because it's very tricky. Things have to follow suit. They always watching film. They always trying to see who works best, who's going to hit, who's not. It's all about chemistry. Let's keep it 100. I don't care how good your chops are. If you don't connect with who you're co-starring with, we can't make no money. We don't have no budget. And audiences is fun. And they do test screens to see stuff. So would it have been something for her to be in this movie? Yeah. If she'd have pulled it off. I tell you. Because if you look at Kate Winslet's career, she had a very good career. And she didn't follow suit behind the water. Same thing with Leonardo DiCaprio. Kept a career going. But those kind of films are once in a lifetime if you're lucky to get them, and you just don't know. So a whole lot has to go into it. And the reality and the totality is two different dynamics. But this here is very interesting when I mention her because she didn't get that role, what it would have done for her career, how we would have perceived her. And if it would have been as successful as it would have been, what would that have said? So, but sometimes these things happen for the best. You really can't prep yourself for that kind of success, and you just don't know how it's going to be, though. So, it's just one of those things where, it wasn't meant to be. But anyway, tell me what you think, though. Please hit the like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I do respond. Thank you. Wash your hands. Keep your mind clear. Watch out for another. Share it if you like. And stay focused, stay real. Keep 100. If you do decide to hit the membership and you make requests, I will get them back to you. Stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke. I am out one time. Peace.